Today, we're going to be talking about seeds for August. Yes, seeds for August. What can we plant in August? Now, I know a lot of people have been asking, should I start my fall garden? What should I plant in August? Do I have time to plant in August? Yes, in just about every zone, there is something you can plant in August. And I'm going to touch a little bit on each zone and give some suggestions as to what you can plant. Let's start with a cooler zone, which would be your zones like 3 through 5. And if I miss a zone or I don't cover your zone, I'm not trying to cover every last little single one. I'm just kind of touching on, cooler climates, then milder climates, and then the warmer climates as a whole. So if you are in zones 3 through 5, you're in a cooler climate. Some of the things that you can still plant in August, you can always plant some quick growing crops. That would be like your spinach is a good one, and lettuce is a good one as well. Things like arugula. You can also think about, radishes. That's a good one too. They are a root crop, but radishes tend to grow pretty fast. Any crops that you can find that are fast growing, those are the ones you can plant since you do have a shorter season. Even bush beans and snap peas, because they grow pretty rapidly as well. So those would also be good choices if your zone is 3 through 5. Now, if you want to go with some herbs, that would be your basil, your dill, and chives. You can plant chives as well. All those are really quick growing, and even though you have a shorter season, they should still do well. So basil is one. I don't have any chives out here right now. Dill is my favorite. One of my favorite, I should say, herbs, and I have that growing as well. Also, now is the time, especially if you are in the cooler climate, get ready for your frost. Get ready for your colder days. If you don't have frost cloths or roll covers, get them now. Don't wait until you need them. Start planning. Take a look at your garden. Survey your garden. Say, okay, now this side will be fine, but that side's going to need this, and take care of it now. So that's what you want to do if you're in zone 3 through 5. Okay, so zone 6 through 8. I'm 8A. Okay, so this kind of applies to me. And although some of the heat is starting to subside, we're still going to have warmer days. But for all zones, I want to say that at any time, the weather can be unpredictable. So we have to kind of plan and be ready to adjust accordingly. They may say your first frost. They may say my first frost. I haven't even looked it up yet, but they may say my first frost is at the end of September, beginning of October, and it may not come till December. So be aware of that as well. And my philosophy is, if something is growing, whether the frost is coming or not, let it grow. Let it grow until it doesn't grow. Okay, now that's just my personal philosophy. And if you are new to the channel, take a second and subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss anything. Okay, let's move on. Again, lettuce, spinach, arugula, that's pretty much for almost everywhere during this intermittent time when we're going from heat to our cooler weathers. You can always throw some lettuce out there. Lettuce grows tremendously quick. And if you only get one crop, that's one crop, but it's just a handful of seeds. So your lettuces, arugula, things like that, spinach, those are all good. Beets, radishes, and turnips as your root vegetables for zones 6 through 8. Perfect time to get those planted. You are going to start your seeds indoors. Now is the time. You want to get started on your brassicas, things like cabbage and broccoli and collards and Brussels sprouts, anything in the brassica family. You want to get started on that now, but those will need to be started indoors, okay? Because it's just still way too hot for them, but they need to get going. And then you can also plant peas, but check the variety, and that's on anything you want to plant, whether it's an herb, a root vegetable, or just a regular vegetable. Check for the variety that may do well in the season that we're in. For as herbs, you can throw out some dill, I replant my parsley there. I always have parsley. It's a perennial, but I love it and I use a lot of it. So I always throw a few more seeds out there every year. Now, if you're in zone 9 through 13, heaven. Y'all got the longest growing season there is. You can probably plant whatever you want. But you can still plant tomatoes, peppers, eggplants. Even okra can be planted late in the season. You all have it made. Y'all can plant pretty much anything. You can still plant your watermelon, your cantaloupes, and things like that, succulents. All of that can still be planted if you're 9 through 13. And then things like Malabar spinach can be planted. Certain varieties can be planted of lettuce and spinach and things like that. So check the variety, but that's a good variety of spinach that can be planted if you're 9 through 13. As well as collard greens. You can get your collard greens going now. When fall comes, you'll have a nice fall harvest for some collard greens, 9 through 13. When it comes to herbs, you can probably try out some basil, cilantro, mint, all of that's good for 9 to 13. Basil is one of the herbs that just goes through all zones. You can grow it wherever. You can grow it pretty much in any zone at any given time. And it's a perennial as well. So I always have basil out there. The basil that I have out there, I've had for 4 years and just comes back. I love perennials for that reason. You can also plant rosemary, thyme, oregano for a continuous harvest. Those will keep going and going and going. So those are some that you can plant as well. Rosemary is actually like an evergreen. So it's going to be treated like an evergreen tree. And it grows well. It grows really, really well in 9 through 13. So those are pretty much some of the main things that you can plant during this time. Keep in mind, though, like I said earlier, it doesn't matter your zone. Be aware that your frost dates could be at any given time. So prepare for that time to come. It's coming. We just don't know if it'll be as accurate as what the hardiness grow zone says. The maps, what they say right now, you can continue to Google it and see. And I like to say, pay attention kind of like to your surroundings. I mean, if you're going outside every day and that you can tell that the temperatures are dropping much rapidly or more rapidly than what you're accustomed to or what's being said, then pay attention to that and just make sure you're ready. Okay, well, thank you all so much for coming and hanging out with me today. It's storming outside. It's raining. It's been raining for the last 7 days, so we're not out in the garden. We are in the office today. I really do appreciate each and every one of you all. If you're not subscribed to the channel, take a second and subscribe to the channel. Turn the notification bell on. To my returning subscribers, thank you so much. It's a joy to always have you all come back watching the videos. I love the comments, and to my channel members, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. And remember, anywhere you can sit a pot, you can grow a plant.